Hey guys, so Dragonflight was revealed. Dragonflight is in fact the next expansion, and we are in fact going to, you guessed it, the Dragon Isles, which we kinda already knew. I mean the big in Battle for Azeroth, the whole with the black dragon scale or whatever it was, and then one of Rathion's guards or whatever. So like, oh yeah, he's looking for the Dragon Isles. Come on. We knew from that moment, we're like, we're going to get to Dragon Isles soon. It may be a patch, it might be an expansion, but we're going to get it soon, and here we are. So the first video I did to the initial cinematic I did while it was happening, but with these I want to kind of go through each one. I just hate doing things when they're actually like live, because like I'm trying to talk, they're trying to talk, and I don't feel like having to stop the video and then it's not technically live anymore, and then you go back and you realize you missed a whole bunch of information, so it's a pain in the ass. So this one's easier, so we can hear what they're saying, but then I can stop and talk and this and that. So right now we are going to go through, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Each one is about 5 minutes long. So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, about 30 minutes worth of stuff. So, but they're going to go through and they're going to tell us what to expect. And I watched it for the most part, but I was so busy trying to upload the other video, I really wasn't paying attention. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I didn't see. But without further ado, the Waking Shores and Banaran Plains preview for Dragonflight.
Hello, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Josh.
I'm Jackie.
And I'm Gary.
And we're part of the teams that are building the first 2 zones that you'll encounter in the Dragon Isles, the Waking Shore and the Unaran Plains. The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores. It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
The art team again has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're going to get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for War Mode.
Sure.
It's free for all out there. It's going to be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
The Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers, exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragonflight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathion's coming over to the Isles with us, and he's going to try and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathion? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jarden so much. They're half giants that wield the power of magma. And when the Waking Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding giant lava mammoths, parading around, just stomping on your face.
And they were the enemies of the Dragonfly for so long. They fought against the Red Dragonflight, hunted dragons down, and they're really taking this opportunity to rise up. As the Red Dragonflight have the mandate of nurturing life, they don't want to just stomp out the Jarden completely, but they want to make sure that they don't have the power to affect those around them negatively, to make sure they don't go on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore. But Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
We finally have those webbed feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology.
They
We've
can
got them
figure
in.
it out. They
Yep.
can fly.
You should be proud.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
The Onaran Plains come right after the Waking Shores. It's so breathtaking at first glance.
The Onaran plains are big, wide open plains. And the player is going to be constricted a little bit, and then you see this big contrast of a zone. We don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view when they see this area.
Come out and you got that postcard shot
love
of the
that.
plains. And then you see this giant fire proto-dragon breathing fire and a herd of Centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Onara is the wild god of the wind. And she's appeared before as like this big spirit eagle. She's the one who guided the Centaur to the Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the Centaur.
The Centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually they realized that we're strong, you're strong, maybe we should stop decimating each other's people. We'll make peace, we'll make an agreement. You guys hang out in the groves and the Centaur will hang out in the plains. But now the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the Centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here. So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The Centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plain and we want to be creative with them. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big and you can see so far, especially in Onaran Plains. So we talked to the engineers and we actually increased that distance.
It spurs you on to want to adventure and look through the zone and explore everything.
The interesting thing for me is we have all these conflicts with the Dragonflights. There's missing dragons, there's battles, there's so much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a story that's grounded in Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now we're going to have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are going to experience in the Dragon Isles.
Okay, so when I first saw these, like, I'm getting a lot of like Gorgrond, alternate Draenor vibes from it. It looks very much like like a Gorgrond mix with the Grand. Very much the color scheme of them. It seems like they're blending styles of certain expansions. I mean, when I'm seeing like symmetry and stuff like this and the way the trees are, I'm getting very much like Warlords of Draenor vibes from it. But then you have stuff like it looks like almost like a mix with High Mountain, or so it seems like they're taking like a bunch of areas, gathering inspiration from them and just slapping them into one, which is great. They're taking some of the best zones. I mean, not saying that Gorgrond was amazing, but the architecturally and everything with the mountains and this, and it was interesting. Especially knowing that there was a train supposed to be going through the damn thing, but they took that shit out. But Alex Straza, which shows that leaked image was real, because this is the exact same. Actually, hang on, let me bring it up. So here's that leaked image. You can tell it's exactly the same. You know, it was pretty much from the cinematic, it looked like, or just from this picture. And so everything was real. This was real. The name was real. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. But we get to party with the Centaurs. I've always loved the Centaurs in the game. And quite frankly, it's just, I feel like there's not enough of them. It seems like they were mostly something you saw in Classic. Not so much as, you know, now, but I love the Centaurs. The Kolkar. But then now we have the next two, which are the Azure Span and Thaldraszus. So we're gonna see what these entail, with some new peoples here talking.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate.
I'm Christy.
I'm Kate.
I'm Sean. We're going to talk today about Thaldraszus and the Azure Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that players adventure through, and it's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this great concept art. When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills. And we really wanted to take that, but wowify it more. And I don't know if you've ever been up to the Bay Area, but in the morning, that coastal fog comes in and dips down into the redwoods and that sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, we've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra that's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as the eye can see. And Sean, I know in the forest, we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls. These gnolls are all throughout the forest and Azure Span. They've made this their home. Some gnolls with strange magic that we're going to find out what exactly that's about. Snow gnolls, or as I call them, the snolls, up in the winter area. And then some regular gnolls that are just going to be around the forest area. So then we go into the big open tundra where we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore their culture a lot more.
And those kids are adorable. I absolutely love the Tuskar. Honestly, all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since we've seen them. We remember the Tuskar from Wrath of the Lich King. They're also getting a nice cool upres for their models, along with expanding their culture. So there are going to be male Tuskar, female Tuskar, Tuskar kids. So we're going to fight alongside them, which includes help from a certain group of dragons, the blue dragons. We're going to follow the story of Kalagos.
About fucking time. We were wondering if Kalik was going to get a new model. He might be challenging the position of Wrathion right now, because Kalik is looking as sexy as fuck. I'll have to see, hear his voice and everything, because, the voice has got to go with it. Wrathion, he's just a perfect package. He looks amazing. He sounds amazing. Kalik, I love the thing that he's got with his hair. I love you can see like a very arcane style with his clothes. I love it. But how's the voice work? The voice work has to, you need to hear it and be like, that's Kalik. That's Kalagos. But I love the fact that they finally updated his model, and he's not staring at walls anymore in our order hall. Like, amazing. Kalik, it's a fucking wall. What's amazing about it? So I'm glad they updated his model, and he's looking fine.
Our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Syndragos' archives. It's a giant zone. There's a lot of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Aldraz's.
Aldraz's.
It's really incredible because you will be going through some of the previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when you get to Thaldrazis, everything is perfectly intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 dragonflights and home of the dragons. It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite Dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area in Thaldrazis, and their magic is time. There's so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options. And we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. We really wanted it to feel like their old stomping grounds. One of the really cool features is going to be the main city and player hub for this expansion, Valdrakken. It is a culmination of all of the dragon's efforts to put together what a city would look like. So we ended up having a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you see that the blue Dragonflight is hosting a public library, and the red and green Dragonflights both have their own separate gardens. We'll also have some convenient services for players, including an auction house in the city, which will be really nice if you're looking for more exotic wares. The thing that really sold me on Thaldrazis was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And this is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological marvel. Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them, and there's splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place, and filled with so much history.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions.
Okay, so the fact that they're having this whole thing, like the entire area or structure dedicated to basically Tyr, Tyr, one of the more powerful Titan Keepers, I dare say he had a hand in defeating Galakrond. You see what I did there? It's funny because he got his hand bitten off. It's a joke, people. Laugh. So no, he was a very important historical figure in Warcraft lore, because if he hadn't come together with the dragon aspects, they may not have defeated Galakrond. Galakrond was just out of control. He was fucking eating dragons and regurgitating them as zombies, and he was just growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And he could have possibly become a cosmic level threat. Traveling from world to world, just eating things and spitting them back up as undead. And so Tyr being there with the Dragonflights, he had he had a hand in defeating. They had to plan, they had to strategize, they had to work together. And they had, so the fact that Tyr is being represented again, and we're getting to see more of the guy after, he's a very important historical figure in the game. So that's really cool, and I think they actually showed him. Don't know if that would actually be him, but Tyr has a tomb, so it's hard to say if it's actually him or just kind of like a memorial to him, which I like the very ancient Greek look that they have going on with the Titan Keepers, and yeah, so that'd probably be Tyr right there. And as you can see, he is kind of missing not just a hand but an entire arm. But yeah, huge historical figure, not just literally because he was a Titan Keeper. He was huge. But like I said, if it wasn't for Tyr's help, they may not have defeated Galakrond, and Galakrond could have just kept consuming and then just went throughout the universe, just eating, regurgitating undead, and becoming the biggest nuisance to the universe that anyone's ever seen, to the point where maybe even the Titans were going to be able to take him down. So, huge floor figure, love Tyr, and but yeah, let's get back to what they were saying before.
These are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to dive off the tops of towers and swoop under things.
It's actually one of the things that we're about to learn about next.
How to train your dragon. But I actually do like that idea. It's not just a mount, but it's something you can ride, looks like specifically on the Dragon Isles, and it's not going to just be an up, down, back and forth kind of thing like a regular mount. No, you can dive. Basically, it's going to do exactly what you expect a regular mounts to do. Instead of like with normal mounts, if you just jump off, splat, hit the ground, you take damage. You want to be able to swoop up and do spins, and so the fact that we're going to be able to do that. But before we get to there, yeah, like I said, with the mixing zones together. So they said themselves.
Our favorite Wrath zone.
They took inspiration from Grizzly Hills, which people were is like one of the best areas ever. Looks like a bit of a Jara there. Jara is very autumn looking. A lot of golds, a lot of oranges, a lot of reds. I think Jara also had dragon statues that were there at one point. But this area seems to be one of the most I'd say it's a diverse looking areas. I'm guessing that's a tree that's being reflected. I mean, if we could see some of the trees from Crystal Song Forest, that would make this area perfect. You got some Tuskar right over there. There are little canoes. Looks like a little child right there fishing, trying to catch its meal. But I love how different each area is. We got the gnolls, so they're just giant hoggers, essentially. They're not short and stubby like we know. No, they're fully, they're big, they're bulky. I like the way this one looks with the blind eye. It's really cool looking. And then you had this one very shamanistic look to it. I love what they're doing. The Tuskar, I remember meeting them in Wrath of the Lich King. I'm like, oh my god, I love these guys. Then their little mustaches. No, I'm thrilled that Kalik is finally getting a new fucking model. But when you look at the zone, and when I saw this, I thought of Ardenweald, Grizzly Hills, what other areas was I thinking about? Spires of Iraq from alternate Draenor. So it's like I said, they're looking at all these different type of terrains and locations, and they're just taking some of the best ones and combining them together and creating these awesome. And what's best is that you're going to start off this expansion, once you get to the Dragon Isles, you're essentially going to start your journey with this dragon. So it's like it's taking out that whole, oh well, you're gonna unlock flying like 9 point or 10.4 or whatever. You're gonna have this thing from the beginning. So basically, as long as you just progress and you can maybe go higher, or they said gravity is gonna play a lot. So think of it like when you were doing like Mario 64 with the wing cap, where if you're doing that, you can't just go straight up. You had to woo, and then you went up that way. So having to work with gravity and velocity and altitude and stuff like that, it's really going to be fun. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of these higher up floating places or stuff like that where you can get to, where there's going to be little goodies there for you. If you get up there, treasure chests or rares or something like that. And more incentive to explore, because you're going to see an island off in the distance, but you may not be able to get there at that moment because maybe your dragon's not able to do it at that moment. But then you go to the next zone, and then suddenly your dragon's able to go higher or whatever, and you're like, oh, let me go back to that island I saw in the last zone and go see what was there. It gives reason for exploration, and I mean, that's what World of Warcraft is part of, is the whole exploration part. Alex Straza, the Lifebinder. Love me some Alex Straza. But next is the Drakthir and the Dragon Riding, or How to Tame Your Dragon.
Hi, I'm Jake.
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Drakthir Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alex Straza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Drakthir, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Drakthir are created by an aspect, they have the ability to wield the magic of all 5 Dragonflights. So Evokers can take advantage of red magic and blue magic and bronze magic.
And to show that, we created a visual, what we call a prismatic effect. This prismatic effect is basically the coalescence of all their energy as they channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them.
I'll take that one.
Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with Pyre, whereas blue is more focused and overwhelming. You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell, but it gives you this really physical connection and control that's new for World of Warcraft and I think is feeling really, really good.
We have some great animations. Thank you, Andy, your team.
Love it, Andy.
You feel physical when you're casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the battlefield and cast while you're flying.
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really
They're
cool.
awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me you
tell
can
us about the
change the
colors.
color.
You can do a lot of matching. So your visage form can have scales that are the same color as your Drakthir form.
But my favorite super favorite part of customization for the visage form, hair.
Yeah.
Because I can actually do this in game.
Yeah.
The tech is here.
We finally did it.
As players make their way through each of the areas of the Dragon Isles, they'll partner up with the Dragonflights to move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity, like you were mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really adds to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
As players make their way through the Dragon Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
Can I have spikes?
Definitely.
Okay.
We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights, and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get into game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
Okay, so it's like they said, the whole learning how to use the dragon properly to reach higher up, definitely for exploration purposes. Like I said, they're gonna go higher up, floating island. You're like, oh, well, let me just get up really high and, shoot myself up there. I love how they're talking like this technology is like impossible when so many games have done this before. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Drakthir. They look really, really cool. And it looks so different, but it looks like part of WoW. You got the freaking, like the dragon breath type thing. You've got traditional like fireballs and, fire blasts and. Let's see if we can get that. Morty. Yeah, you can see you got the blue magic, you got the red magic, you got bronze magic. It all spirals until it finally like almost gets to them. And it's good that there's only 2 specs, because you have the blue and red, which are basically offensive type magics. And then you have green and bronze, which bronze doesn't really heal, but it's time. Bronze dragons control time. So, speeding up healing, or it's like, oh, fuck, I made a mistake. Whoop, turn it back. But like once per every 30 seconds or so. So having a heal spec and a offense, a DPS spec, that's pretty cool. And it worked well with demon hunters, but then we have druids that have like 4 specs right now, and you don't need that many. You don't. You really don't. But the animations look amazing. I like the idea of all the the aspects power being like infused into them during the animations. I mean, just it looks amazing. It's so different. The customizations. Oh god, furries rejoice. Furries rejoice. As if there's not enough furries in the game already. Volpera, the Worgen, Dread-Eye maybe because they're space goats. But now we've got dragons that you can customize, and they're humanoid, more humanoid than the other ones. So Rule 34, here we come. No, but the customization looks cool. The dragon that you get, being able to customize that is amazing. And now let's go to the talent tree, which I've hated the way the talents have been for a while now. They never should have taken the tree away, but it looks like they may be coming back with it. So let's see.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Laura. We are very excited to share you're finally revamping the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
I have a big question for the group. How long do you think it took for us to finally revamp the WoW HUD?
My guess is like 15 years.
Close, 18 years.
18 years.
18 years.
Wow.
You know, technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and we have better dev tools to work with. So it makes sense to have the revamp right now. Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen time.
So when we approached this, we wanted to create a layout experience that players could customize, move things around, adjust it to fit their needs.
Add-ons today, they do a lot for player customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality, to improve accessibility in a lot of areas, and on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so the art update, it's a big part of this project. The UI that we have today has a lot of charm and personality, and players have been using that for 18 years. So with that in mind, we want to respect the players who really like the current UI, but do a modern take to it, removing the clutter and giving more visibility for your gameplay. So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the action bars in the bottom menus, they have less head frames, and you can really open up your gameplay, so you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the Griffins. They look so nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and kind of put them more in the center by my character, those are all things that I'll be able to do?
Absolutely. And each of those different components will have various sets of options that you'll be able to work with. They'll be able to save it, edit it, copy it, name it. Also, it'll remember which spec you're in. So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project. We're gonna keep working on it. So we really wanna hear back from you.
A project that we're all excited about that we've been collaborating a lot on is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long time, like you said before, and we really started with how can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger, but it's determined by the designers. We decide the order.
Yeah, we started looking for a system that would give players a much wider set of options.
And after looking at all those things, what we really returned back to was the idea of trees. but it's actually 2 trees. We have a class tree that offer different class utility, and then we have a spec tree that is focused on performing your role, whether that's damage, tank, or healing.
Can I just jump in and say that I personally am super excited about having trees come back. There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these 2 trees because we feel like picking a specialization is a really important part of your World of Warcraft character now. And so we want to make sure that when you choose that, it kind of affects the tree in some way.
Yeah, as soon as you open your talent tree, you'll see something new. The class side will have some abilities filled out for free, just kind of starting you off in that spec you've chosen, but then you'll have your first point to spend in the class tree, which could be something related to that spec or role, or it could be something from elsewhere in the class.
There's a lot of things that we can do here, and part of that is encouraging players to perhaps make combinations that they've never really been able to see in the game before. This is an opportunity to put a lot more art and fantasy in the actual talent UI itself.
You have seen that a lot through most recent expansions, but not the base UI.
We want you to be able to tinker with it. You know, we want you to be able to make a lot of changes at a lot of times and not necessarily have to commit. The power really is coming back to the player. It's not something we want people to feel locked into. And so one of the things that we'll be preserving is the ability to change these talents at the same kind of frequency that you do now.
Yeah, the old school players, when you see trees this time, just think, yeah, I'll go from my raid night to my arena match and figure out what I think is the best for both of those.
And that's a process we want to make really fluid. So we're building a save load feature that lets you create your build, name it, save it, and then load it up very quickly and freely.
Talents were really about the breadth of options. We've made all these different cool things over the years, but when are they at their coolest? It's when players can hold the building blocks of what can make up their class, their spec, and put them together in a way that works for them.
So these are really cool features that we've been working long and hard on, and we're very excited about them. And it's just an early preview of the things we've been doing. We can't wait to see the reaction that you have to them, and please reach out to us and let us know your thoughts on them. And next up, we're going to talk about professions in Dragonflight.
Okay, so I'm really fucking happy we're getting trees back. Let's get a picture of that. Also the UI, like they were saying, the UI has become so bland. I mean, it's got a charm to it because of how long it's been around, but there's so much you could do with it. What I would really like to do is them, you know, take some of the best add-ons and incorporate those into the game. So like sexy map, being able to customize your map, you know, your mini map. You know, bartender, being able to customize your bars, have different, you know, presets. You can, you know, make the buttons look different, you know, to fit more, you know, your, you know, mood at that time or your style, stuff like that. And I would love to see that incorporated because add-ons do, you know, depending on which ones, they take memory, you know, a lot of memory in the game, or even just the smallest amount of memory is enough to change your performance in the game. So anything to cut down on performance hindering add-ons would be great. Being able to move everything is a great start. Being able to hide your UI or just hide what you want, you know, because like for me, I don't want the little mini menu. I really don't need it, so I would like to hide it. The bag bar, don't need it. Would love to hide it. And you can with add-ons, but this should be stuff that is mainlined, baked into the game itself, not having to use add-ons for that kind of stuff. And then what they were saying with the talent trees, so you're gonna have, so you got druid and then restoration. So your class, so I think these will be your traditional, you know, 1%, 2% for, you know, healing or attack or, you know, crit or this or that. And then you have the actual spec. So each one of your talents will get an increase in whatever it is. Maybe add some special effects to them. You know, they don't always have to be useful. But, you know, a cosmetic type thing would be really cool. The thing down there where you can kind of switch on the fly. So say you're PvPing at that time and you've got your PvP spec, but then you're like, oh shit, it's raid time. You don't have to sit there, like, erase all of them or, you know, do whatever and be like, okay, this will go back. You can just switch them out whenever. You don't have to, pay anything. It's just, okay, I'm in PvP spec, boom. Now I'm in raid spec. I'm ready to go. So being able to switch and everything kind of goes is really helpful. The fact that, you're getting more to choose, no matter what people are going to say, oh, it's always going to be cookie cutter, because they're always going to say, oh, well, you better pick these, otherwise your DPS isn't going to be that great. Some people don't care about DPS. Some people just want to fucking play the game. Like, the only people who care about big dick numbers are the ones who are like PvP and raid. If you're a casual player, you don't care about big numbers. You don't care about how fast you're taking something down. You're just there to have fun. So, it does give choice, and I hated when they changed it. When it's like, oh yeah, level 15, you can only choose between these three. And then like level 30, you have 3 more talents to choose from, and you can only pick one. It's just, you're leveling up all these levels, but then you feel like you're not really being rewarded for it. I'd rather have 1 point every level than have to wait fucking 15 levels before I get to choose another skill. It felt so, it's like, ugh. But then it was the same thing. It's like, well, if you want to maximize your DPS, you need to pick these skills. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them, when it's like that, it is helpful. I did that when I was doing the Mage Tower. I blew through it with ease once I got all the skills that people were saying, yeah, you need these skills. I blew through it. It was easy after that. When I was just doing it the way I wanted to, it was a bit harder. But then everyone's like, oh yeah, if you're a demon hunter, and you're in this spec, you need to do this, and this, and have these potions with you, this with you. And when I did all that, I found that I got through it a whole lot easier. So that's really the only time I would actually care about what people are saying, like, oh, you need to do this. But I like the fact that there's 2 separate, one for the class and one for the spec. So you'll have, say, mage, and then whatever one you pick. So we got druid here, then restoration. So if you're a mage, you'll have mage points, and then you'll have like arcane or fire, frost. So I'm really looking forward to this. And they're right. It does bring back a lot of customization. It is very nostalgic, and it was really a good system. I don't care if it's only like 1%. I don't care. It's still feeling the progression. It's still better than getting a skill every 15 fucking levels. Because at least here you're getting some progression. Even if it's 1 point, you can still put that 1 point into the tree and feel a bit more powerful rather than waiting. Oh, well, I'm 15. I'm going to pick this. Oh, great. Now I can get my next skill at level 30. Anyways, next and finally we have professions, which not a big profession person, but let's see what professions have it. And it seems like that no one really cares either, because it's way less than the others. This one's a little over 4 minutes long. The other one's like well over 5-6 minutes. So let's see what new professions have in store for us.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
And I'm Eric, and we're going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight. Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them part of your identity as a player, if that's what you want.
We really want to make sure that professions feel fun and relevant across all levels of gameplay.
That brings us to Our first update, something that we're calling crafting orders. If you want to have something crafted for you, but you don't have the skill or the right profession to do it for yourself, you can have it crafted through a crafting order. You can basically browse any of the recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you, or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone, sort of a public order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who you know will be able to craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone can have them crafted through the crafting order system.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession. It's going to be really great.
So the first time you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things in the UI. We've put a lot of work into it to make sure that the professions feel really special and unique.
And another thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction of stats specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to craft items at a higher quality is through crafting specializations. We've had crafting specializations in the past, as far back as original World of Warcraft. With Dragonflight, you can go out and earn specialization points in a whole bunch of different ways. So maybe you find an old book on a bookshelf in a ruin somewhere, or a hermit in a cave who can teach you a little bit about your profession. So let's say you're a blacksmith. You might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people in your guild may specialize in a completely different path. So this means that your guild could have several top blacksmiths and everybody's providing something unique and valuable to the team, which is really cool.
Now that reminds me of another update. We're actually adding crafting tables to all the different crafting professions. We're going to take those, and we're going to put them all in the main city of Valdrakken. And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're going to see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. It's going to be a whole new crafting area that's going to make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much more lively area than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is the gear. We're introducing new types of gear for every profession. And when you go to, say, mine a node, you're actually going to just switch into that gear. It's going to be really great.
You're not going to have to carry that stuff around in your backpack anymore. There's actually going to be dedicated slots for each of your pieces of gear. But I'm a numbers guy. I love progressing. All pieces of profession gear will have those special stats that we mentioned before on them. And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
Okay, so first off with those, you don't take candle. So I love the fact that we have shovels. I do love the helmets with the candle, kind of like the wax holding it on. Different looking picks. I mean, I really love what they're doing. Looks like the little. It's just. I really like it. Having cosmetics and stuff like that, but the whole system, being able to have commissions. I mean, you've already been able to do that But instead of sitting in town now for like, oh hey, looking for this, you have a little UI you can go to. Let me pull that up before I forget. Where are we? Come on, where is it? Come on, a little something for you. With the commissions, but before the commissions, so the level, so the better the gear or better the materials, the better it's gonna be, and this and that. So that's pretty cool. They're like, don't say anything, just point and click. Trying to find it. Where is it? Where have you gone? Where have all commissions gone? But God, I'm trying to find the damn thing. It just doesn't want to be found, I suppose. Was it back further here? Okay. I would love to have this for tomorrow's raid if you can get it done in time. Thanks. So, they're taking kind of like the guesswork out instead of sitting there. They're like, hey, does anyone grab this for me? You can just post this. You have a commissions fee, of course. Obviously, you pay them for their services. Posting fee, of course, just like the auction house. Your duration, so this is for 24 hours. I'm sure it's like just like the auction house where you can have 12, 24, 48. So it's a lot easier, and it's pretty much calling all professionals, really. And whoever takes it up, it's great. You get the money for it, or they get the money, and if you're the ones making it, then hopefully it's like an instant thing, because I hate having to wait an hour just to get money and all that in the game. So it's pretty cool that you can just kind of search for it. Put job posting, really, you're looking for someone, rather than sitting there in chats all freaking day. Because you may not be able to sit there all fucking day and try to find someone. You might have, a real life. So being able to post this and having someone answer it by, crafting what you need, and, the transaction gets done pretty much automatically. It's really cool. It's convenient. It's not 2004, 2005, or 6, or, where it's like classic WoW. We don't have time to sit and just say, hey, looking for this, looking for... the people who used to play are grown up now. They have lives, they have families, they have jobs. So that's why I did like the addition of Dungeon Finder. This should have been done ages ago. Because it really makes it to where you don't have to sit there and worry about, oh, am I going to get that thing made from... it's like, I've got like maybe a few minutes left. I'm not going to find anyone in time. You just post, boom, you're good. And when next time you log back on, you might possibly have the item you were waiting for. Or, like they said, you could have it sent to another person. The person makes it and they send it to whoever. You just let them know, or whatever the case is. But Dragonflight seems to be introducing a lot of cool shit. And I really think, and I really, really hope that it's enough to keep people interested. Just the flying around looks fun. And if I don't level up, I would just fucking zoom around all over the place. I would just do that because of how fun it looks. I mean, back with Mario 64, I did that. Get the wing cap. It's like, I'm not even going to play the game. I'm just going to fucking fly around. So, it's, it looks so amazing. You knows take candle. I love the way it looks, the aesthetics of that they're taking different zones and smashing them together, and I love it. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. I know when I saw the cinematic, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to Dragon Isles. And then the Wrath of Lich King, as bad as it sounds, I nearly teared up because of how nostalgic it was. Come on, John, it's just a game. Yeah, well, I bet you tear up at certain songs that bring back nostalgia, or movies that bring nostalgia or something. So, me, I had a lot of good times in 2008 when this game, when Wrath of Lich King came out. So, yeah, getting a little in the feels there. But I'm really looking forward to it. So we have Wrath of Lich King Classic coming out this year, probably November, I'm guessing. I'm sure they'll announce beta testing coming out soon enough. And then we have Dragonflight, which will probably be out next year. So 2023. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know if you haven't played WoW in a while, does this look like it's enough to get you back to play? If you are playing, are you hyped for it? Let me know below. What's your favorite thing we've gone through? Is it, the profession system upgrade? Is it the flying, the how to tame your dragon bullshit? Let me know. Other than that, I'm done here. You know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.